Greetings, petrol heads. Welcome back to Automation, the car company tycoon game. Now, last time we revised the Athena SL3, which ended up with the SL4, and for 1979 we're introducing turbos. I thought that, the jump between the 150 horsepower from the 3-liter inline-six and the 215 horsepower from the V8 was a little bit of a big jump, and also this turbocharged inline-six makes less emissions and better economy than a regular inline-six, on top of making more power than a regular inline-six with 185 horsepower. Aesthetically, obviously, it's still exactly the same. And it does 0 to 100 in 8 seconds, which is pretty good, actually. Still pulls noticeably well in like third gear, so that's good. Yeah, this is what the power and torque curves look like. This being 1979, there's no ball bearings yet there. They will arrive in 1980. Okay, but so far I think I'm pretty happy with the way this tuning went out, or worked out, I should say. It is just, a good, very good mid-range torque. Basically, as much mid-range torque as the V8 has. Obviously less peak power and better economy though. So overall, of course the drivability went down compared to the regular inline-six model, but comfort went up because with the turbos it's quieter now. And this was a suggestion by Sedan 57 Chevy and somebody else before him. There is now a V12 version of this thing for a limited edition in 1980. You can see a bonnet hump, some vents. Those are 6 on each side, so 12 total for 12 cylinders. A little bit of chrome between the bonnet hump and those vents, as well as the area between these two chrome bars being blacked out now, and also we have a chrome bar here, a little bit of chrome surrounding the indicator, and it says LTD on the back, and you got quad exhaust. So there are quite a few details about this car that separate it aesthetically from the regular car. And then you get under the bonnet, where you're gonna find this fella. Yeah, there we go. That is a twin turbocharged V12. It's a 6-liter in this case. Maximum family capacity is 6.2, I believe. It is the new Hercules V12 engine family. We have ball bearing here, water to air intercooler, 350 horsepower, lots of torque, and pretty low maximum boost actually, because when you get a 6-liter V12 you don't need that much boost on the turbos. Yeah, and look at these, look at the numbers here, like between the 255 and 340 horsepower, like pretty much in the middle of that there is 300, right? So we're making 300 horsepower at around 3,500 RPM already, and it revs to 5,600. So no matter which gear you shift into, you're always gonna have at least 300 horsepower right off the bat as you shift, and that is what makes for some really good acceleration even in the higher speeds, which I shall demonstrate now. Obviously lots of wheel spin off the line. But there we go. Between 100 and 200, it just pulls really, really well. And I was kind of going back and forth between open diff or automatic locker. And obviously, with an engine like this, the acceleration time has more potential. If we just put this on here, 5.8 seconds. But I just feel that an automatic locker for just such a premium, like luxury saloon, it's just about comfort. I think the locking diff is just not the right choice here. Not only because we would lose comfort, which by the way is even better than on the Turbo 96 now. Not only down to the engine, but also down to the fact that we now have quality on the interior, you know, with some nice details that other versions perhaps don't get, is the idea. And yeah, I just think that this would make like a really good competitor to like a Rolls Royce or something. And obviously, this being a limited edition model and having a 6-liter aluminium twin turbo V12, having better quality handcrafted interior and whatnot, it's gonna be expensive. Yep, that's the most expensive car we've made so far. However, it does really well in these markets like luxury premium, GT premium, regular GT even. It just does so well here. Even in the hypercar category, it does well. Would it do better in the hypercar category if I went for automatic locker? Like, does acceleration time count? Yeah, a little bit. But I still think the open diff is going to be the better choice here, because of aforementioned reasons. And because, you know, I thought like, you know what if somebody wants this as a 2-door? So there is the CL460T LTD. Otherwise, like, identical. Only difference is there's 2 less doors, and the chrome bar here is a little bit different. But apart from that, it's just exactly the same. For some reason, this does better in those markets. Just it does slightly better. I don't really know why, but you know, it is just that little bit cheaper. Maybe that's the reason. Or no, actually, it's because of the Prestige. Prestige is 58.3 here, 56.3 for the 4-door, because apparently a coupe is more prestigious than a saloon. And yeah, so the plan would be. Can I access this now? No, it's still kind of flawed. I can't do anything here. The plan would be to build 250 cars, 250 limited edition cars of these two combined. So I guess it's going to be like 150 saloons and 100 coupes, like really exclusive. But they do exist, and they are probably going to make us a nice amount of money. And yeah, just overall, I think this is just going to be a really, really good car for Athena and the future of Athena, because, well, we're back basically. And then there's one more car I wanted to show you guys today, and that is the 1980 SM4. And with this car, this is an important one, because I think from now on we'd like to move the SM series more into the direction of being like a compact or a mid-sized sports sedan, at least more so than our other sedans. And that is just simply because of the fact that they're smaller and lighter than, you know, what Athena normally builds. This one has a, you know, slightly retuned naturally aspirated version of the N96. In its base trim, it has still a space frame chassis from steel and then aluminum panels, double wishbones all around. And then it has a 5-speed manual gearbox with an open diff. I think this is just more suitable for a sporty saloon, because comfort is still good at 47. But sportiness is now 17.5, which is probably the highest we've ever had. And this is by most standards not a particularly sporty car. There we go. That wasn't quite where I wanted it to be. Reliability is coming up now. 60.1 is actually pretty good. We get alloy rims, of course, medium compound road tires on this one. Yeah, I mean, doesn't really make a difference whether we make... Yeah, let's just leave it at this then. 275 rear. Handmade interior. Hydro pneumatic springs with, the usual very drivable setup here. 43.7 drivability is good. And then we have a 0 to 100 kilometers an hour time of 8.3 seconds. Which is good for an entry-level model, I think. Yeah, I mean, as the base version of the SM4, this is probably not so bad. And then there's the SM430T. And the T obviously stands for turbo, which aesthetically is exactly the same except for the quad exhaust pipes and the fact that it's eating the intercooler of its turbo. Still, we have a 5-speed manual gearbox, although we now have an automatic locking diff because, wheel spin is getting to be a concern if we don't fit a locking diff. And for this car, I actually think the locking diff is not so bad because it does have sporty ambitions, and it can handle the locking diff. It is going to be a pretty well balanced car, and drifting is fun. And this is one of those cars that you would potentially take out for drifting. As far as engines go, this has a more sporty tuning of the 3-liter turbo engine in 1980, making 225 horsepower or 349 newton meters, which may as well be 350. It's okay. Red line of 6,000 RPM. Slight bottom end concerns. No valve float though, and I mean this is not as reliable as this engine could be, and what Athena would normally stand for. But it is also our first more sporty car that has actually not only got a strong engine, but is also running sports tires, alloy rims, vented discs front and rear, has a 5-speed manual, and it's just overall more meant to be sporty. It also has a slightly more sporty steering behavior here, and that's intentional than is normal for us. But I really wanted to keep drivability, relatively in good shape, and 33.1 is already sort of low. Then again, it is a turbo, so that affects drivability negatively. 6.3 seconds acceleration time is good. yeah, 14.7 quarter mile is one of the quickest we've had so far, despite being not even close to being the most powerful car. And then Laguna Seca, now I should explain when I started out with this car and when it was still, you know, making this in the regular like 1.0 drivability rating. This car would do a flying lap of 159.9, I think, around Laguna Seca. But now it will do a 158.0, so almost 2 seconds quicker, just by changing the suspension and the tire setup a little bit. And yeah, I think this is just well, could you even call this a premature BMW M3? Probably not, because the first generation M3 was a proper sports car. It was like all about the performance, whereas, you know, newer M3s were a little bit more about comfort and, you know, everyday livability, and you know, they usually still perform really well in their class, but that's not their only big purpose anymore. So this one could more be like, you know, an early BMW M5 rather, although it is more like the size of an M3. Well, I don't know, 4 meters, 30 centimeters, that's, yeah, I mean, it could be about the same size as the BMW 5 Series was back then. But as far as its purpose of its character goes, it's more of an M5 kind of thing. So these are the cars I like to show you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like or a comment if you did. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.